Hey guys, Car197 again. This time a review of the 144 scale high-grade Universal Century Rig Diaz standard colors. Or at least the standard colors until everyone wanted to be like Quattro Bagina. Yeah, until everyone wanted to be just like Quattro Bagina. So, the original mass production colors were a very, very nice, very dark blue for almost the entire machine. Then we have a few bits of very dark brown on the legs, the torso, the side skirts, also on the backpack. Then we have light gray for the tip of the feet, little details here and there for most of the joints, and also for the accessories. And we have a bit of red on top of his head, and here inside for the thrusters. And finally, we also have some clear green for the mono eye. And that is really cool because, well, it's one of the few model kits in high grade that does not have a sticker for the mono eye. Talking about stickers, none. Swiftly moving on to articulation, the head goes a little bit left and right until the back of the head hits these side things. Yeah, no up and down movement because, well, the head is just on a peg and it's very flush with the rest of the body. What it does do, however, is open up in order to reveal the phalanx guns. Now, it can be a bit tricky to get it open and to keep it open, but once you find it, there we go. They do stay up very nice and also very nicely detailed little phalanx guns inside there. The arms move forwards a bit, backwards a bit, rotate around all the way. We'll go up like that very nicely. The shoulder arm itself will also go up, and this flap here will also move a bit. And as you can see there, some really cool detail underneath the arm. And we'll rotate around, bend at the elbow. At one joint, hands are ball joint, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. And also have the trigger finger articulated. That is something really cool that you sometimes see with the very bulky Dom-like mobile suits. And for the waist, rotates around a little bit. On the back, we have the wing binders, which are on pegs, will rotate around and go a little bit in and out. Not a lot, but it's there. And front skirts, forwards, backwards, the legs are nicely out, rotate around, bend at the knee at two joints, but we're not really getting alike as well. It's a very bulky machine, very bulky legs, so it's to be expected, especially for such an early high grade. Then the feet go nicely forwards, backwards, rotate around, and also side to side nicely. So overall for articulation, it's adequate. It does everything you'd want a Rig Diaz to do, and for such an early high grade, it's actually still pretty good. It's a lot better than some of the close combat mobile suits of the time, such as the Goof and the Gian, and well, compared to that, this is a very, very articulated mobile suit. So, for the Rig Diaz, this is pretty much all the articulation you're going to want. Up next are accessories, and let's start off with what's already on the machine. One pair of beam pistols. Simply slide them into the hand, and there you go. If you tug them against the arm a little bit, they're not going to come off, even if you hold it upside down. They are at kind of an odd angle, but that's something you're gonna have to live with because you have the pegs there in order to store it on the backpack. Then one kind of accessory that's on the machine as well is that same movable trigger finger I talked about during the articulation, because of course you can also use that as an action pose for when he's shooting the kind of general launcher that's in there, which can shoot super glue, which can put out fires, and anything you want coming out of your fingers. Then, of course, the one big accessory you get with the Rig Diaz is the clay bazooka. Just as with the beam pistols, simply slide it into the hand, and there you go. This time around, one of the wing binders is going to get a bit in the way, but if you push it a bit more forward, then you can hold it straight. And if you want it a little bit like this. You're gonna have to hold it just like that. Then the final accessory that we're getting is a beam saber. And we do also get a very nice clear green beam saber. A beam saber blade. And this is the first time in Hyper Sentry that we get a standard removable beam saber. And yes, this will work with the ones we're used to, but it's actually slightly longer than the old regular ones and slightly shorter than the new regular ones. So this is a unique beam saber that you only get with the Rick Diaz. You also only get one of these. You don't get the usual pair. So it simply goes into the hand. There we go. And won't come out either. And if you don't want to use them, no problem. You can simply store them on the back. The bazooka goes right in there, and you also have a place to store it on the other side. So if you buy 2 Rick Diaz's, you can actually store 2 clay bazookas on 1 Rick Diaz. Now, in order to store the beam saber, you will have to remove one of the wing binders and then slide it in like that. It's a bit loose in there, but you know, the good news is because you have to remove that wing binder in order to store it on there, it's not going to fall out as long as you have the wing binders on it. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And for 1,200 yen? Yeah. It comes with all the weapons you'd want it to come with, has decent enough articulation to pull off all the moves you'd want it to, and it's nice and bulky as a Rick Diaz should be. It might not be the best and the most articulated model kit out there, but as far as the Rick Diaz goes, you have nothing to complain about. Especially considering the age of this model kit, and when you look at some of the others released at this time, the Rick Diaz is really fantastic compared to some of the others. Like, I already mentioned the Gov, the Gian, they were released around the same time. And when you look at what they did with this machine as compared to the Goof, which was literally the model kit before this one, they're worlds apart. So all things considered, this really is a sweet model kit and definitely worth buying if you like the Rick Diaz, if you like Zeta Gundam, or if you just like those bulky, kind of Dom-esque mobile suits. So for size comparisons, here he is next to the Dom Tropen and the Goof Fly type. Then next to the Shizram Diaz and the Goof, which, as I already mentioned, isn't quite as articulated as the Rick Diaz. Now, the Shizram Diaz, on the other hand, might be a reason not to pick up the Rick Diaz and simply go for this thing instead, with its huge binders. And finally, here is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. And that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.